It's through on YouTube. Oh, I think we got it. Oh yeah, baby, it's working.
I'm going to switch over here.
Good. I am going to send us. Oh, we are already live. So
we are go.
This. So let's get the intro here. Here we go.
One, two, three, four.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to Judging Bouncing Balls. Been a little bit, Toby.
It's been forever in the podcast world. You know where we live. Man, some people. Good thing that we don't have a lot of sponsors right now. They'd be mad at us.
They would be pissed. They would be really mad.
People do want to sponsor us. They can. We're back. So.
But the good news is we got lots to talk about. There's a lot of cool things coming back. Episode 61, Making Friends in Michigan. So why don't we start out with just a couple updates. Toby, tell us what's been going on. Anything new in life? How's pickleball?
Well, I'll be honest, pickleball's great. We played through the summer every other week. We talked one of the trap shooters to not shoot trap, and he said he could give us the gym every other week. So we played. Last night we had to take 2 weeks off with the Thanksgiving to give thanks. And then last night we had a snow squall come through at like 3:00. And it wasn't like there was snow, but it got cold and windy, and everything was ice. I've never seen roads as icy as this. So Macy did some soccer training last night. So I ended up skipping the pickleball and driving her.
Wow.
This would have been the second time Macy drove in snow, and the first time didn't go great.
It happens.
Quality towing, super nice guy. But we're not going to talk about that because she'd kill me. But
No.
everything is good. Just got a little loose. Put her in the rail. No real damage. Everything is fine. $100.
Hey, that's all that matters. You got to make sure everybody's healthy and happy after that. But
there's nothing better than it was our main road in Swamico, and I was parked behind the cop, and I'm standing there, and I get about half hour I get to work, and I am soaked. And my phone rings, and it's my friend Leo, and he's like, "Hey, Toby, were you standing by the popo?" And I'm like, "So happy you saw me." So I took some heat there.
Yeah. You definitely weren't taking a breathalyzer or like anything like
no,
that. But
it was 9 a.m. Yeah, right. You'd never know.
That's right.
So, but otherwise, yeah, a lot of. Well, we'll get to this. We missed the last soccer travels with Macy being sick.
Yeah.
Disappointing that she was sick, but I got to be honest. That Sunday afternoon when everybody was driving back, I was okay. I was happy on my couch.
I bet you were. That was something else. Good old Chicago. That was super fun. But I will say Chicago wasn't too bad those last two trips we had to go over to Michigan. It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
But
it's just that first trip went all the way to Detroit, and me and Joe took the girls, and we went up and around.
Yeah.
It was nice on the way there, right? Because it was mostly daytime. You know, the water, it's really nice. But coming across the UP at night, Joe drove, and it was like, that took forever.
Yeah, that's a long trip. That's no joke. So.
Yeah, so I was happy. I wasn't, thrilled that, but the soccer, let's be honest, you guys throttled some teams, so it was okay.
It was good, yeah. We would have loved to have Macy, but it was okay that it worked out. I mean, I'm glad she got healthy, so. Yeah. Man, on our side, we just started hockey, so Amelia's back into that. But yeah, otherwise everything's good here. Ice cream truck is shut down. Starting to get not as crazy busy as it used to be. So hey, we're back at the show. I wish we'd have been able to squeeze one in, but it's tough in the fall, man.
It is, and that's actually on my notes from production was ice cream truck. How was the summer? How did it end up?
Well, the long and short of it is, it was a little bit better than last year, but we did lower our price, not lower our prices, but we kept things kind of steady. We didn't charge tax this year. We just incorporated it in. So it was actually a better year than the year prior. So it was good. And we got some weddings coming up for next year. So people are happy with us, I guess, which is good. We ended on a wedding this year, which was fun.
What's your favorite event? Like, what's the best event as an ice cream salesman to do?
We were talking about this. My wife and I really like weddings. Everybody's happy. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's a little,
Loose.
Loose is a good word to put it. And so they have a good time. So they've been a lot of fun. And everybody just know who can be upset at the wedding, and then you got ice cream. Everybody's happy. So it's a good thing. We really like the weddings.
Do we sell a lot of nachos?
Oh yeah, we sell a lot of nachos.
Yeah, I feel that's a winner. I haven't had them.
We did raise the price per Toby, so it's probably a good thing because they take longer to make. They do take a while.
Yeah,
so.
It's profitability based on time served. I mean, you got to do the studies.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
now we just got to get over to see Paul at Velocity one of these summers. We're good over there. We were over in Appleton this year. We can get over to Green Bay. It's no problem.
What'd you do in Appleton?
Cintas.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they had us over.
Nice.
That was really good. That's a big place. I was really surprised. They had a lot of people. So it was a good time.
You raised the prices on private equity. Did you be like, "Ooh, $1 more, suckers"?
No, I didn't. But they were really awesome. And after I did that one, I'm like, man, we could go over and see Paul, no problem. It'd be easy. We'll figure it out next.
Okay. Well, he's willing to pay. I think he's still listening, so
yep.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's good. He's a good guy. Yeah. So we're getting down to some soccer. We went to Detroit. We'll kind of start in Detroit, and it ended up to be a dad's weekend.
It did.
A lot of dads. And I'll be honest, I'm not saying that was a great thing, but it was a fantastic thing. It was funny because we got home from Detroit, and my wife and Macy, of course, gave my wife the rundown. And Jackie comes, she's like, "Hey, did you even see Macy?" And I'm like, "I'll be honest, I thought they were having a lot of fun, and I didn't want to bother them." And she's like, "That's not the story I got." And I'm like, "Well, that's weird." You know, well, let's be honest, dads get together, things got a little loose. The beers in the lobby were flowing on Friday night. And then we played early morning Saturday. That was bad. Then we got throttled. That was even worse.
That was bad. We did not play well.
And then, no, we weren't ready for that. Yeah, it's all right. And then we were on our way home. We were hungry, me, Joe, and Mr. Palmer. And we found a bar called Slingers or Stingers. I don't know. And then we just started having fun. And then we had pizza. One of the better pizza places I've ever been to.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
And then again, lobby for a couple beers. Now, you were in and out. You were busy. I get it. Being a dad, way to go.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, you know what I'm impressed with, though? I will say this about the dad's weekend. Man, you guys got endurance. Endurance. I am impressed. You guys really hydrated well, and it was impressive. It was a thing to behold, and a lot of things, a lot of countries wouldn't understand how to keep up. You know, I've heard I saw something about how like Ireland could outdrink whatever. I'm like, I think they need to come to Wisconsin because they would probably have their eyes opened a little bit about how well we hydrate.
It's all about the body. It's all about taking care of your body and making sure you're ready for a big weekend. You know, you maybe take Thursday night off from a couple of beers and you're ready to go Friday night. That's just, I play pickleball. I mean, that pretty much keeps me tip-top shape.
You guys were ready to go. Let's put it. You were in mid-season form. Joe was in mid-season form.
Joe did it again in Grand Rapids. He was back at it.
Dude, I'll tell you what, when we got to Grand Rapids, Amelia and I pulled in. It's 1 a.m, and I'm like, well, man, we are getting in late. I'm like, we got to get to bed, get up. We walk in, and everybody's like, Hey, how you doing? I'm like, what the hell are you guys still doing up? It's 1 a.m, for Christ's sake. And they're all just like going strong. They're like, you coming back down? I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. That was crazy.
Oh,
it was good to see, though.
Yeah.
It was good to see James and Joe, and it was awesome. They were all there. It was a good time.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we came over to Stevens Point to see our kids, right? Because my daughter is at Point, Joe's daughter is at Point, and then James's wife, Marcia's son, is at Point.
Yeah.
So we're like parent weekend. So we go over there. It's 2 o'clock, and we're at Rusty's Backwater Saloon, right? Having some beers. And then we're downtown at midnight.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I got to go to bed. I'm exhausted. Joe and James having the time, having the fun.
I'm not gonna lie, we had other plans that night, and when I got back, it was like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I could go out because I know they're out there, but I'm like, I can't run with these dogs. You guys are.
Well, I'll be honest. The
it.
college bars are way different than they used to be. I mean, it is mind blowing how different they were, and they were having fun, but the kids didn't get out till like 11. So we had the bar to ourselves. We're like, oh, this is weird, but kind of nice. And then all of a sudden I look up and it's full of college kids, and they're all dressed like they're hanging out on their buddy's couch, like shorts and like bike shorts and like a ripped t-shirt. I'm like, whatever happened to like putting on a little cologne and trying to meet a lady? And they're like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm like, that's weird. I mean, I had a cologne on just in case. My wife threw me out, but she was there with me, so she said I smelled good.
Right. Well, that's all that matters.
Right? And that's a true statement.
Yeah.
But Point was great. I went to the pizza place downtown with the big pizza slices.
Ooh, Polito's. Nice.
Polito's, yeah. Stayed at the Cobblestone Inn right there, so that was kind of nice. We could park the car. Went and watched the Dogs hockey team. Go Pointers.
Got the big dub.
Yeah, we left when they only had scored 4 goals, so we did not get the taco. Yeah.
Unreal. Got to get the taco.
We did the Puck-a-Chuck or Chuck-a-Puck.
Chuck-a-Puck is the best. Did you win?
No. I think we had 30 of them between the three of us. Well, I had them in my pocket, right? And I didn't really test them because I'm like, oh, I can throw pretty well. That little styrofoam thing barely goes anywhere. Of course, somebody put it right on the circle. I'm like, that's a local.
Yeah, so here's the deal. If you've never done Chuck-a-Puck, what it is, it's a little foam puck, and they sell them for a fundraiser, and you can buy it. If you throw it and win, do you get a gift card or the pot? I can't remember.
I think you get a part of the pot.
Yeah, I thought that was part of the pot. But anyways, everybody goes up there thinking, I'll just throw this thing out here, no problem. I'm going to drop. It's way harder than it looks. You got to know what you're doing, and the locals do know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, they're $1 a piece, right? So I bought 10. I'm like, I should only buy 1. I only need 1. And I'm into it for 6, and my arm starts to tingle a little bit, and I'm losing feeling in the fingers. But I muscled through. I think the last one might have hit the glass. It was bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Yeah, Chuck-a-Puck. I forgot about that. It's a good time.
Yeah. Beautiful campus over there at UW. And one of the tables at the bar was full of rugby guys. I'm like, this kind of has Toby written all over it. Then I didn't. I didn't want to get in trouble, start slamming beers, but I was going to tell them they need to wear a little cologne, meet some ladies, but they didn't seem to care.
You slam a beer and you should have just Bill's Mafia on the table, just go down on it.
Right. Well, the bar was JL's or the boat house. I
don't know.
I'm not
good at the bar.
But the best is we go in and I'm like, hey, there's 6 of us. I'm going to buy a round of beer. I want to buy a round of drinks, and here's my card, and keep it open. And we're going to probably all throw our cards on the table. So we're probably 3 drinks in, and the kid comes over. He's like, hey, our credit card machine doesn't work. Hasn't worked all day. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? You got my card and I don't have any cash. Yeah. Do you mind going to the cash machine? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. But I find it interesting that you knew all day and yet you still took every one of our cards. And he's like, yeah, that's my mistake. And I'm like, okay, like I'm fine. I'll go get money. But what if I wouldn't have had cash, right? What if you only carried a credit card?
Yeah, that would have been bad. That's
Yeah,
funny.
he didn't care.
He did not care.
No, he didn't care one bit. And I was like, well, I ain't gonna, fight the kid over anything. So I went and got some cash. We all did, and it was fun. But it was funny that and watching people go up and be like, I need one beer. Here's my money. Thank you for the change, and then leave. Like nobody buys rounds among college kids. It's so great.
Yeah. Well, they're probably going to a college party somewhere in a house where it's on
I hope so.
tap or something. I don't know.
If you bought a shot of Fireball, you got a free can of Bud Light or Budweiser.
Wow.
So we did.
They're still giving Bud Light away.
Right. That's the first thing we joked about. So we bought 6 shots of Fireball, one for each of us. And then they brought us all this Bud Light. None of us were really drinking beer. So we gave it to one of the college tables. They thought we were like the king of France, right? They're like, oh my God, free Bud Light. And I'm like, yeah, have as many as you want.
If it suits you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
So, yeah,
well,
the point was great. So
you had a good time in the local economy. That's good. Thank you.
We're trying. We're doing our best. Doing our best. But let's get into why did we name the show what we did?
Okay. So I'll start with why. So in making friends in Michigan. So the first thing, obviously we went to Grand Rapids. I've been to Grand Rapids. Hell, I used to live close to Grand Rapids. I lived like an hour away from there for 5 years or something like that. But so the first game we go over, and this is my fault. I'm going to own this, right, as a fan. Apparently, when I went to like set up the tripod to broadcast, I was thinking like I'm going to go to the end of this bleacher. I didn't really look at where the bleacher was, but the bleacher was like 5 yards past the midline, right? So I'm on the other side. I'm on the home team side, and I didn't think anything of it. But I set up, and we're doing whatever, and we scored our first goal. I can't remember. I think it was, did Marley put it in? I think Marley put it in. That nice cross. It was really nice out of the air. She popped it right out of the air and put it in the upper 90. And we go nuts, right? Joe and I are like, yeah. And all I hear from the people on the side is, oh, they're on our side of the field. I guess they don't know about, where they're supposed to be. And so I leaned over and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. Are we bothering you? Or something along those lines. I'm like, it's my fault. I made some joke about it. And then we, kind of joked back and forth. But then later as the game went on, they got more annoyed with us because we were kicking their tails. And they were just such whiners. And then I remembered back to when they came to Appleton, they were whiners. And like, it kind of got a little uncomfortable. I was kind of wishing we were the other way because then I felt like we couldn't say much because they were listening to everything we were saying and they were not happy. So we got a little quiet on that one. That was kind of odd. But then same issue in the other game. We went down to, the next game. And we set up, but this time we were like, okay, we're setting up on our side. We set up on our side, definitely on our side. And then all of our fans come around, and then it's Andy and Jeff, I think it was. Not Jeff. Kate's dad's name is Jeff, right?
Jeff. Yep.
Jeff. Yeah, they're down on the front, right? And they're down there the whole half. The game's going well. We can get into the whole Toby sucks things later, but but we're down there having a good time. Second half starts. And apparently, mom and dad want to move down and watch their kid, right? So their kid must have been a defender. So they flip and they come down and sit. And then they're like, hey, Andy and Jeff, could you guys sit down? We can't see. And they're like, no, we were here first. You guys chose to move down here. We're not moving. Which I get, right? And it's on our side. So we have rights to that side. And then it was like, we could just move. Even your own fans want you to move. That's what they said. And they're like, yeah, but we know them. And whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, but they don't like you. So then there's like this back and forth, like they're like pissed at each other. And I'm like, so then I'm starting to think, well, what is the etiquette for sitting on your sideline? Is it, are you allowed to go over the midline? Are you allowed to, or should you only be on your bench's side on that side of the 50 or the midline? What is the rule? I don't even know, because apparently we almost got into 2 fights over this. So
Well, let's go back to the first stadium. We'll call it a stadium because there were bleachers. But
Yeah.
I was watching online, and you were at the middle of the press box. We'll call it. They had a
Right.
2-story press box, and then the field half line was 5 or 8 feet to the left. So it's like they laid the
Correct.
field. They built the field. They built the press box right at the 5 or 50-yard line. They put the bleachers exactly where they needed to go, and then they dragged the field
which
5
is true.
yards to the north.
Correct.
It didn't make any sense.
It was goofy, yeah. And that's what I think threw me off too, because I kind of went like right to the middle, and then I realized, oh shoot, we're on the other side. But I don't know. Maybe this is a bigger deal than I thought. I just didn't think it really mattered. I mean, I know you're not supposed to like go on their sideline, but we get that all the time where people kind of fudge the middle, I guess. So
Yeah, and it's I don't know. They always say, and I don't think it's a written rule of anything, but they always say the 50 you go on your bench side. But some of our parents, if you're on offense, right, we have a mom that'll go sit when we're going. Let's say our bench is on the left side, but we're headed to the right side. They'll go down and sit in that corner.
right.
And
Yeah.
nobody says anything. But yeah, I think. I mean, did you guys break the unwritten rule? Sure, but it's not like
yeah.
you did it on purpose.
No.
I wish I'd have been there. That's where I shine, Jeremy. That's where I shine. Just
Dude, I was waiting for
aggravating
Joe.
people.
I was waiting for Joe to say something, because Joe was getting, in that first game, he was getting a little frustrated when they were complaining about every call. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to get ugly. Joe's going to do his Iowa thing where all of a sudden I turn around and
I was
he's
gonna
just giving him the bird.
I was going to say that was the first game we ever broadcast with Joe. And we're in the middle of Iowa, and I turn around and he's giving their whole sideline the finger. It was amazing.
Oh, I thought that was going to turn into a brouhaha. I'm like, man, what did we join up?
Right. We should do this all the time.
Oh, that was
So
funny.
yeah, I guess because you see grandparents that'll come and sit, and they usually cheer for their granddaughter, grandson, or whatever. So it's not a big deal. But you know what it was? You were beating the snot out of them on the field.
That didn't help.
No.
Yeah.
Because if they'd have been beating you, they'd have been like, "Oh, what are you doing there? Are you broadcasting our game live?"
Well, and initially the first part, like it was all kind of hunky dory, because their daughter is named Amelia and they call her Meals. And so then it was like, they were like, oh yeah, we call her Meals on Wheels. And it's like, oh, we do it with our kid too, then. So it was like this all friendly. And then it just, after it became like 2 and 3 and 4, nothing, it was like all the niceties were gone. And they were just like, every call, they're like, what the hell? Like,
Your
oh,
daughter
geez.
Amelia's cheap,
Dirty 30. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, which by the way, we are going to get her shirts made for that, for when we play in the high school season. We're going to get shirts for the fans that say Dirty 30 on them. So
Awesome.
yeah, but anyways, that's another story. So
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
but apparently
Yeah.
we made a lot of friends. So
in that second game, those people were not in the right. I mean, you can't show up at halftime and tell everybody what everybody's been doing, what to do.
I would agree that one. I was totally on Andy's side on that one, because it's not like they came and all of a sudden just, and now if Andy and Jeff would have walked down and stood in front of them, that's a different story.
100%.
But they were there the whole time, and then all of a sudden they show up and they're like, hey, can you guys sit down? And it's like, and then they got mad when they said no. I was actually, sometimes I just want to, I admire people who stick to their guns. Like Andy and Jeff are just like, no. Because if that would have been me, I'd have probably been like, yeah, I'll go sit down.
Right.
You're
I'll
like,
stop
I'll be
doing what I'm
nice.
doing. Yep.
But they were just like, no, we're not moving. I'm like, good for you.
Well, you wonder if any attributed, because that was after 2 nights of lobby beers. Usually by the Sunday, you're kind of a little tired.
Oh, yeah.
Belly's a little rumbly, maybe headache a little bit. So I wonder if there's a little aggravation in there going, I ain't doing nothing.
It was funny. I did agree with them. I thought they were in the right. But yeah, etiquette wise, I mean, I guess to all the fans out there, make sure you sit on your fans sideline. Otherwise, might find yourself in the middle of a brouhaha.
Yeah. Well, make sure we're there because we'd love to record it and put it on our podcast.
That's right. Yeah. So, anyways.
Well, good, but that was a good weekend. Girls finished the season. I don't know. Somebody posted a lot of wins, not a lot of losses. We took second. Tigers
took second. Yep. Tigers were tough to beat.
We did win our 4th state title in 5 years. So we won the opportunity to go to Kansas City again. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Wow. Thanks, soccer.
I hope it's 100 degrees again.
Oh, yeah. It will be in the dead of July. Playing 42 games of high school in 2 months, and then you're like, how about a little break? And you're like, how about not? Let's get going. And we are going to Arizona, January.
I am not. Amelia is with grandparents. I am not.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So well, it's important that she's there.
Yeah. Have fun with it. It's gonna be great.
Well, if we win, we go to Round Rock, which we're going to send Macy with Amelia. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
I think they're old enough. I'll be honest with you.
Why not? Send them down.
I mean, just give them like $200 cash. They can spend the night in somebody else's room. Who cares? Like, go sleep on the floor at Joe's room.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't think there is anything bad. I'll be honest with you. Round Rock's Austin. It's amazing, I'm told. I mean, So we'll see. We got to win first, but that's the beauty of this sport, right? If you're good, you go. If you're not good, then you go too. You just don't. You're just not happy.
You just don't get as good of a trophy.
Yeah. Could you imagine one day if you added up all Amelia's trophies, right? And you're like, wow, she really did academically and sports pretty well. And then you added up what those trophies cost. You wouldn't buy those.
No, you would not.
No. But hopefully that investment pays off.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, she's having fun. The kids are having fun. Like, I think about Amelia and Oliver, they're all having fun. And they're learning good stuff. They're learning teamwork, and they're learning how to get different kinds of coaching and how to better yourself. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. But man, you're right. The cost. I was looking at it today, just adding up some of the stuff. I'm like, can't wait till
there's no need. No need to add up. Yeah. But we're down to the twilight, right? I mean, we've got junior high school, senior club, senior high school, and that's it. Then what are we going to do? Crazy. Well, you got more kids.
Yeah, we got a lot more to go yet. We're at the halfway point though. Isaac's graduating this year. Amelia graduates next year. So yeah, we're getting close, halfway there.
Are your kids looking to advance in the sports world like Amelia did?
Yeah, I think Isaac will, if he goes to the right, depending on which school he goes to, he'll run. The thing that's crazy to me is Isaac is a really good runner. Like by a lot of standards, he's a good runner, but by Steven's point standards, he's not. And which is really crazy to me. Like he runs a sub 17 5K, which is like, you're running pretty dang quick. And on a lot of teams, he'd be varsity, but he never ran a varsity race, which is kind of crazy. So he would like to run in college, but it would have to be the right college because like UW La Crosse is where he might go. They're way too good. He would never be able to get on the team unless he chopped like a minute and a half off his time. He can't run at Madison, obviously, and he might be able to run at Eau Claire if he went there. So we'll see.
Are those his 3 schools that he's looking at?
Yeah.
And
I think he's going to go to La Crosse. So
awesome. I'm an alumni of Eau Claire, if that helps. One day.
What school are you not an alumni of?
La Crosse, Madison. I'm an alumni at Northern Michigan University, Eau Claire, and Milwaukee. Now, I call myself an alumni because I went there. I only graduated from one, I think. Right. Milwaukee Panthers. But La Crosse is a great school.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
Yeah. But I tell you what, Allie, my freshman in college, she is so happy she played college tennis, and she was on the fence. She's like, I don't know. It's the greatest thing she's ever done. She was on campus early for her friends. And what's amazing about Division III sports is I found this out. Like the boys tennis team at Stevens Point is phenomenal. Like some of the kids she hangs out with now that have actually come to Green Bay and hung out with us, and like number 2 kid in the state high school, these are top kids. And the girls' side, there's girls that have never played tennis before. They're like, come on in, we need players. Like, here's a racket. Like, you got to swing. Like, it's so different. It's unbelievable. And Allie had a really good year. Finished 4th in the GLIAC tournament in doubles and singles. Wow. in her number. But, the boys is so much harder than girls. It's crazy.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Hey, college athletics is a lot of fun, and even if the D3 level, it still takes a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment. There's a lot of competition out there if you want to be successful. So, no, I would encourage anybody if they go. As I've been telling Isaac, if you go, I would love for him. Even if he goes to lacrosse, I'm like, man, have you ever thought about just because I think he's a little bit of a late bloomer. I'm like, just keep pushing. You never know. Maybe you get that good enough where you could walk on, and maybe you could be on their team. I know they're really, really good, but I think I think you could do it. And it's like, I just think kids need to try to do some of that stuff as much as they can, because it is it's a really good experience.
Well, what we love is they have to send their grades to the coach. So we get to see her grades, but I don't give her. She's been doing great because she's like, I don't want to be the bad apple.
Right.
They work out constantly. There is no scholarships. There's no NIL money from any local business. Nobody's called. Target anybody, maybe the Boathouse Bar, like, hello, opportunity
right here.
Rusty's. So, but it's been a positive impact. So that's fantastic. Yeah,
that's good. That's the important thing.
Yeah. But speaking of college, when we started the process of being on this team, we were excited for our kids to maybe have the opportunity to play college soccer.
Yep.
And now that you get into the recruiting style and what it takes and how much work it is, they're not coming to us, right? I think this misnomer, it's like it's football. It's not football. Like ESPN Top 100 is not in soccer. So there are girls out there that are heavily recruited by the big programs, but I'd say 99% of them are like ours, where you have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And then you look at the college roster, and then up comes the portal. And out of the blue, Paul sends us a lot, and he sends me, and I talk to Paul quite a bit. This portal's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in.
It is insane. And they say like 65% of them do not better themselves. Who was it that talked to us? Was it Nicholls State?
I think it was, I think, was that Jose?
Jose, yeah.
I think that's his name. Yeah, I apologize to the friend of the show. It's been a little bit.
Coach.
Yeah, Coach from Nicholls.
But he said the numbers don't lie. Like 65% of the kids don't. But you start to watch. There were 12 girls from the University of Pittsburgh that were on the portal.
I know. Wasn't that crazy? Like half their team. And did you see that on Twitter? They actually showed a breakdown of the worst schools. Pittsburgh has been notoriously one of the worst. Almost all their girls, or a lot of their girls, jump into the portal every year. And then surprisingly, shout out to Wisconsin. Wisconsin was one of the best. They actually retained most of their players. But Pittsburgh, 12 girls in 1 year. They're just like deuces.
And then you watch what happened to UWGB, right? They got rid of their coach. Yeah. And it's the barn's on fire. People are running out of there faster. They had Senna Haynes, who came out of our club. And she had player like freshman of the year, player of the second team, whatever, all conference. And she's like, I have an opportunity to go big. And she's getting recruited for bigger.
Yeah. Which was, the personal side on that for us. We had just gone in. Amelia had gotten asked in for a recruiting visit to Green Bay, which was awesome. She was all excited about it. We go into Green Bay and we're like, she loved the campus. I liked it, but she really loved it. She loved the campus. She really liked Julie, the head coach. I thought Julie was a pretty straight shooter. Thought she was a pretty good lady. And so we left that meeting. Amelia thought about it and talked to us and thought some more about what she wanted. She emailed coach back and she's like, hey, really, really liked the visit, really, really liked the team. We got to meet Senna and some of the other players, and we're like, she got to go to the practice and see everything. And she thought it was great, really liked it. And we emailed them. She emailed them, said, hey, yeah, I'm definitely interested. 2 days later, gone. And it's just like, okay, well, we just started over because nothing's happening now.
Right. And those are the backstories that nobody hears. It's just, those are the ones that you're like, oh, right. 'Cause you thought you found a home. She was going to live in my basement for half the price. It was going to be amazing. Win-win. But now this new coach, right? He's got to build it from scratch. He lost his top players.
Yep.
I had heard 2 of the better players went to the AD and said, we need a change. And the AD said, we're making a change. And then one of the better players says,
see ya. Yeah.
So there's no guarantee. And the scholarships now are pretty much 1 year. I mean, they can pull them, they can move them, they can give you half.
I mean, I think that's what they have to be. They have to be 1 year at this point, because all it is you're going to enter the portal if you're not happy.
Yeah.
So,
and now you look at, we went and watched Michigan Tech play because they had contacted Macy. So,
mm-hmm.
And the soccer was good. It wasn't, we've seen really good soccer, but I think she could play there, but it's Division II, and the coach is like, hey, thanks for coming. I have 8 verbals for 25 that I'm still working on. So they're not even, I don't think, even talking about 26 right now.
Which I know that, and I found that out too. Like, it seems like because of all this portal stuff, we've been told like, hey, the 26s this is their time. But I think this year it's not the case. A lot of, other than the big power fours,
right?
They're doing,
yeah.
But everybody else is like, and that's what Green Bay, even to her credit, the coach said, we're not doing anything until till the seasons are over and the portal's open and we know who's leaving, who's coming. We're not making any offers to 26s until we know what's happening there. So I kind of empathize with them.
Yeah, so I told Macy her time is coming. It's just not right now. I mean, to do your homework and to keep, but there's been some coaches that are constantly talking to her as D3 coach, and it's great. She's actually formed a little bit of a relationship, kind of talked to her. We always try to give her a little moniker at the end, and every text or something, if you get their phone to text, and just drop a Go Pack.
Yeah.
Work in some cases. Some people are Packer fans. Some are not.
Hey, but
but it's kind of fun, but man, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And it's I think I've seen the stress on Amelia too. Like just it's like you don't know, and you don't know if it's, it's in the end, it's going to work out. And you always try to remind your kids, like, things work out for the best. If you believe in a higher power, you're going to put your faith up in that and say, hey, things are going to work out. But man, it's tough because you just don't know. And sometimes when the calls aren't coming or the texts aren't coming, you're like, does anybody even know I'm here? To your point earlier, that's one of the things that I've been really surprised at. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I didn't think that, I wasn't delusioned enough to think that Amelia was going to get like people just like, hey, reaching out. But I thought some people would. And I definitely thought if you're a smaller, like some of these D3 schools in the area, I don't know why you wouldn't just take your shot and say, hey, we're interested in you. You want to come play with us? But a lot of times they don't even reach out. They wait for you to reach out to them. And unless you reach out, they never reach out. And I'm like, this isn't really recruiting anymore. This is just you choosing out of people that have emailed you and saying, this is who we're interested in. And so to me, that's what's been really interesting and different is I expected it more like just casual reach outs just to see if there was interest. There's really none of that. I mean, there was a little bit on that right away in June, and then crickets. I mean, it's just been really interesting, like how quiet it is. And if you don't do the work, so I give a lot of credit to like Emily and Greg and to people that go do that work. If you don't do that, nobody's coming knocking unless you're playing for a big time club and you're a big time player. Good luck, man, because they're not coming to look for you. You better go knock on their door.
Well, that and I had talked to Greg because I'd love to have Greg on because I think he has his story, like what the work that they did. Like people think, well, Emily got recruited by some pretty good schools. Well, it's a lot of work, and she signed with Milwaukee, and that's fantastic, or that's where she's going to sign. But you know, it's funny. The Michigan Tech coach, when Macy had her call, she's like, "All right, now you let me know if you like our school." Something down that road. So
that was
she knows right. Yep, she knows where she is in the universe. She's in Houghton, Michigan. It snows 7 million inches. It's cold every day, and I think her ability to be like, well, if you want to come here, tell me, because I got to find kids that want to come here first.
Yep.
Second, can get in because it's a nerd school. Because my kid's a nerd.
3,
right? Then you have to want to play sports. Yeah. So. And that's what I'm finding out with all these smaller schools. Like, look at Stevens Point. They're in your backyard.
Yep.
Like, you think Amelia had all the accolades her sophomore year, and you'd think they'd be like, hey, we're at your game. Amelia, we're in your backyard. We'd love to have you.
I agreed. And that's one of the parts that, like, surprised me because, and don't get me wrong, that's not where she necessarily wants to go, even if they did. But I don't understand the mentality. Like, if I'm a coach and I'm coaching UW Stevens Point, I would at least throw I would reach out to a girl and say, hey, we're interested in you. If you ever want to stop over, let me know because I would love to. And that's not a knock at the current coach because I just don't understand. I understand that that's a lot of work to do that and reach out to different players. But one of the things I'm learning really quickly, if you're recruiting women and recruiting young girls, they respond to those who want them. And if you would reach out to some of these kids, they probably would be like, maybe I'll consider you. Now, to some level, maybe they wouldn't, but I guarantee you would get a few of them that would be like, wow, they actually want me. Maybe I'll go see the campus. Maybe I'll go check it out. Because right now, that's what I'm noticing. It's like one of the biggest fears I have with Amelia is if somebody shows her interest, that she's just going to be like, oh, I love you because you showed me interest. And she's not going to look at anybody else. And that's the reality. So I just am amazed that nobody reaches out. Like, why wouldn't you? It's easy to send an email and just say, hey, you know what, Macy, I think you're a really good, 10. I'd love to see you come into one of our camps and see if maybe this goes down a little bit further. Like, I don't understand why they don't at least try to reach out. It's just crazy to me. I don't know.
Well, that's why. Who are they recruiting? Like, who are they actively recruiting then? Like,
that's what I wonder.
Like, I looked at the list of colleges that are going to be in Arizona. You know who's on that list?
Maybe
Smash or UWSP.
It's like, I don't get it. Like,
now I don't know if they're going to go. Maybe they'll just get the tape. But I'm like, you're literally recruiting a girl that is possibly living in your town.
Right. It's wild. And I noticed there's a lot of Wisconsin a lot of Wisconsin colleges on that list. And I'm like, you could just go to our club games. Like, you don't have to travel to Arizona. I mean, granted, I'm sure they want to go to Arizona in January. Don't get me wrong. But like, that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me is they're willing to go, across the country to recruit somebody that's in their backyard. Like, to me, I thought we'd be running into a whole bunch of like Utah schools and Arizona, but it's all like Midwest stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, that's my thing. Do you really think a girl out of South Carolina on a small program is going to be like, whoa, where's Stevens Point? Like, no.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's odd. That's the part of the recruiting that's been really weird. Yeah. So anyways.
I am going to reach out because I did get the email of the new coach at GB. I thought he'd be fun to talk to with the portal if he'd come on. If we have time for him. He's been reaching out saying, can I get on? So we're all looking to fill our void of having some guests. I thought Greg would be great.
Yes, I think so too.
Paul Logie. I forget her. She was a coach at Pulaski, but she had 2 daughters.
Okay.
That one is playing college, and the other one was recruited by a team out of Tampa, but she ended up down at Carroll. She hurt her knee recently, tore ACL. But she's been in the high school game, so I thought she'd be fun to talk to too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Plus, it's Pulaski. Maybe we can get her spill some dirt.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Kelly Logie, that's it, Paul. So some dirt on the Adamski family, if we can get it.
That's what we're looking for.
That's all we're looking for. But so we're looking, if anybody out there has any ideas of people or coaches that we can go after, it's not a guarantee. We think we swing a pretty big stick, but our time off has really lagged us back down into our number one podcast is falling.
Yeah, that's true. And then soon we're going to be in about 2 minutes. We're going to be competing with the Packers. So,
do they play tonight?
Yeah.
You mean talking youth sports? Come on now.
So, anyways, yeah, it's been a really interesting process. The recruiting stuff, I would agree. I think we should get some coaches on and definitely Greg, because Greg would be really insightful for those of you that have kids that are still coming up. Greg and Emily did it the right way for sure. So, yeah, we got to have him on. He would be very valuable.
Well, I think he's valuable to a lot of people in our club that have listened or will listen, that how they did it. I mean, because it's everything from T2. Yeah. But he did say something interesting. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think when when Emily posted that she was at GB, and that she was in the uniform, like, thanks for the offer, he said something about Stevens Point. Like, all of a sudden we got an email from Stevens Point, like, we're interested too. And he's like, where did this come from? But we can talk to him about that, because that's intriguing too. Like,
yeah, I love it.
You're a little late to the game at that point, but
correct. Yeah,
maybe that's what maybe we need to do hype videos for, like, make up a university, like University of Antigua, Division I, and then we'll just put our kids like, hey, thanks for the offer, Antigua. I'll let you know.
I'm sure they would really respond well to us lying about offers. That would be.
But our kids aren't. I mean,
right. Oh God.
All right. Well, I'll be honest. If it's
already this was good, man.
47 minutes. Yeah, good to be back.
Definitely, and we will be coming back a little bit more frequently. My schedule should allow it, and we should be able to make that happen. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll work on getting some guests and hopefully educating you on some youth sports topics. So.
Yeah, and everybody go watch Pack. Go Pack. Need a big victory tonight, but it was fun.
It was. All right. Awesome, Toby. Well, you have yourself a good night. Like you said, go Pack, and we'll see you next week maybe.
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. I think we have ended here.
Yeah. What did you have to do to make it happen? What changed? Did anything change?
No, what I did is I had to go in and create a manual